Hello, you're watching France 24 World News broadcasting from Paris. Coming up in this edition, Barack Obama changes his anti-missile policy in Europe. The U.S. president said he's adjusted his strategy because the threat from long-range missiles coming from Iran is not as immediate as was believed. But first, we go straight to our top story this hour and a major shift in U.S. defense policy when it comes to anti-missile defense here in Europe. U.S. President Barack Obama has abandoned plans for a large missile defense shield that his predecessor, George W. Bush, had planned to build in Eastern Europe. Instead, he's promised a stronger, swifter system, which he said would better protect U.S. allies against threats from Iran. Take a listen to a bit of what he said.
This decision was guided by two principal factors. First, we have updated our intelligence assessment of Iran's missile programs. Second, we have made specific and proven advances in our missile defense technology, particularly with regard to land and sea-based interceptors. Our new missile defense architecture in Europe will provide stronger, smarter, and swifter defenses of American forces and America's allies. Our clear and consistent focus has been the threat posed by Iran's ballistic missile program, and that continues to be our focus and the basis of the program that we're announcing today.
And for more on what Barack Obama said in that speech, we're joined now by our Washington correspondent, Guillaume Meyer. Guillaume, tell us what's been shelved from the previous plans and what the new plans are.
Well, of course, the Obama administration is in no way talking about scrapping the missile defense system, at least not in those words. They don't want to be seen as if they're bowing to whatever the Russians wanted. So they're officially, they're strengthening the missile defense system in Eastern Europe, but there won't be any fixed installations in the Czech Republic and in Poland. That's the major difference. That's what President Bush and his team had been working on and negotiating with those countries. That's what the Russians didn't like. They didn't want to see military installations, fixed military installations by the Americans in Eastern Europe, and that is not going to happen anymore. That's what Robert Gates, the Secretary of Defense, has been explaining. Instead, you're going to have a mobile defense system based first on U.S. Navy ships in the region, so you can expect them to be in the Mediterranean and in the North Sea, and then there will be a land-based version of that system as well, but that system won't be a fixed system. It won't be on an American base in Eastern Europe, so it's a major shift, a major difference. And it's also being described by the Americans as a more cost-effective way of doing things rather than building a whole installation in Eastern Europe, which would take money, of course, but also several years, up to 7 or 8 years, to actually have the system in place.
Now, Guillaume, just briefly tell us, how controversial is this likely to be in Washington?
Of course, opponents of Barack Obama and his administration are describing this move as a symptom of the weakness of the Americans and basically explaining that the Americans are bowing to whatever the Russians wanted. That means no U.S. bases in Eastern Europe. That's not happening anymore. From the outside, it really does seem that the Americans are, in fact, satisfying the Russians on that. Now, the truth is, for many experts, the Obama administration still wants to have a strong presence in Eastern Europe, and there will be a presence with those interceptors, mobile interceptor units. But the Obama administration also understands that it needs to work with Russia. Russia is a crucial partner for the Obama administration, especially when dealing with Iran, with the Middle East, with Afghanistan. And this is also the reason why experts say the Obama administration really wanted to improve the relationship with Russia.
All right, thanks so much. Guillaume Meyer reporting there from Washington. Moving on now to other world news this hour, to Afghanistan, where a suicide car